Oh boy.
Yeah, we
All right.
could. I started recording, but a cold start doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, I guess I'll introduce myself first. I'm Matt86. You can call me Matt. And then, I've been streaming for a little bit, not too long, but I've also been in social media and making videos for a long time as well on YouTube and so on and so forth. And then with me, my co-host, I have Astro or astronauts as well, if you want to
Yep.
jump in there and
All right. Hello everybody. My name is Astros Knots. I go by Astros. I have been streaming on and off since 2018. I would like to say I started on PS4, and in 2020 I started streaming PC. I was on and off, and recently I've started streaming a lot more, and I've recently hit affiliate status. Yeah, that's my introduction.
Okay. Well, so with the TheEnterKeyExperience, I wanted to just kind of lay it out there. We're a very new podcast. We're kind of just getting out there to express something new, I think, between ourselves, but also out to, everyone that wants to listen to us. We are mostly, I guess, a gaming podcast, but I'd like to say that we're also sort of a pop culture podcast as well. I like to talk about a lot more than just gaming, but I feel like there's also ties to gaming and real life and art and things like that that just makes sense. And I mean, if gaming isn't art, then what is it, right? So
Right.
there's some things to kind of discuss. I think that really just to get the ball rolling. One of the things coming out soon through Steam or Valve or however you want to say it, the big Gabe wants to bless us with a new device. He's already come out with the Steam Deck, and he just came out with the Gabe Cube or the Steam. What's it called? The Steam
Machine.
Steam Machine, or something like that. And
Yeah.
so the next big thing is the Steam Frame. And if you don't know, the Steam Frame is essentially a VR headset, but it's also more than that. It's also a device where you can play any game you want. You can hook up a regular controller, and it has like the VR capable little individual hand controls as well. So you can play your VR games and you can play regular games. Now, personally, I want one. I can't wait for one. I'd rather have that than the Steam machine. What is your take on that?
My take on that is currently I have with me a MetaQuest 2, and I gotta say, I do not play a lot of VR titles. I believe that the the Steam Frame is going to be a really nice VR machine. However, just having a MetaQuest 2 for me works just fine. I connect it to my PC and play through Steam VR, so I don't play on Meta's hardware by itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, you can see mine right here. I have the whatever this
MetaQuest 3.
MetaQuest 3. I don't even care so much. Like I use it, but I honestly, I got it. I bought it with the whole little bundle that came with, I think it was the Batman game or what. I got
Okay.
that for free. I bought a few other little games here and there, like Beat Saber and things like that. I bought the subscription. I think it was like a 1-year subscription to whatever the Meta thing was, and that ran out. I've had it over a year, so it ran out. My whole thing is I like VR games. I really do, but what the games, or rather the games offered through Meta, aren't that great to me. There are some that are cool. A lot of them are free too, which is kind of nice. But through Steam, there's so many more options. So with the Steam Frame, I could see myself using that more than this thing. Like if I got the Steam Frame, I'd probably end up selling this thing, if I'm honest. And it's mostly because, not only because the VR functionality, but because the fact that I could use it for other games. It's not solely a VR system. I could literally throw it on my head and play any game I want and connect the new Steam controller to it too. So the idea that I can play something like Cyberpunk or something while like laying down or sitting down and not have to move my head or lean forward into a monitor is amazing to me. I can't wait. It's something that I feel like a lot of people, when they consider that, be on board too. What kind of functionality would you use it for that? too? Like, would you use it for more VR? Would you think, let's say you were given a free one, just for,
Okay.
shits and giggles, right? If I gave
Yeah.
you a free Steam frame, would you think you would use it more for VR, or would you use it more for like everything else, or both?
I would use it more for VR. I believe that playing just like desktop titles on a VR experience doesn't quite make sense for me. I would also like to say MetaQuest does have a remote desktop kind of feature where you could play your games via desktop. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how good quality it is, but both of them do have that capability.
Yes, I do have it for that too. I actually have the cable for it right here. Like, I have it
The
like where I
milking cable.
could plug it in, and just because a wired connection is just going to be better than a Wi-Fi connection. That's the other thing that the Steam frame is going to excel on too, because they have a dedicated dongle that you could just plug right into your PC, and it will broadcast directly to your Steam frame. And the whole thing's supposed to be seamless. So whether you're playing a game directly off the headset or streaming it from your desktop, it's supposed to be a very seamless interaction, right? So and yes, I agree. Like, I have played some games in VR right off of my desktop using the cable, and it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. I just like the idea that with especially the Steam frame coming out, that it's going to offer a lot more freedom when it comes to like not being tethered. Like, you could put a micro SD into the side of the thing and just download Steam games directly onto your headset and never have to plug it in unless you're like like play and charge kind of situation. And that's freaking amazing. Like, if I could lay in bed and just play a game like that, I'm totally for it. So
Hell yeah. I will say, looking at the capabilities that the Steam Frame and MetaQuest VR headset, the Quest 3, the pass-through for the Steam Frame is going to be monochrome pass-through, which is what you would get on a Quest 2. As for the Quest 3, you get like full colored pass-through, so it's not just in black and white.
yeah, and I think they do that. I don't think it necessarily matters, if I'm honest, when it comes to,
Okay.
because the pass through is mostly for, it's for two things that I can think of. One, where you can see what's around you, and also it's more or less a way of determining, like, almost like how you could determine 3D things a little bit better. I think color doesn't really matter when you're trying to tell the distance of something. And I think that's why they probably went with that than go for the full color thing. Because if you're trying to see around you, that's all you really need to see is just whether you're gonna stub your toe or something like
Yeah. All right.
but yeah, VR overall is just one of those things too. I feel like, depending on the platform, is slowly, I wouldn't say it's dying, but it's going in a direction I feel like is very. So, like, for example, I have the VR2 headset for the PlayStation 5, used it maybe a handful of times. I don't even have a PS5 anymore, but I have that thing sitting in my closet because I can't even sell it. It's like impossible to sell, and it's sad because I was really hoping that with the PSVR 2 that it was going to be this big thing, like they were going to come out with more and more games, that there was going to be more and more accessibility options for it. They even went as far to come out with a little adapter that you could plug into your PC so you could use that along with the PC. I've used it with mine. It's not the most, it's not that great. Just as, to put it lightly, it's not that great. That's why I still use this thing if I'm going to play VR, because I can plug it just one cable and the controllers run off the headset. It doesn't require Bluetooth to my console or to my PC. So that's the main flaw with the PSVR 2 being used on the on a PC, is you have to actually connect the Bluetooth controllers directly to your PC, and there's a lot of connectivity issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my 2 cents on VR. If you want to chime in on that, that's fine with me. Otherwise,
I would say I have tried on the MetaQuest to play games on the device itself, such as VR chat and whatnot, and the quality that you get on a standalone VR versus being plugged into a PC is night and day.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, so with my VR, I'd always like to stay connected with Steam VR and play games that way.
Yeah. And it's funny too because there's so many games right off the bat when VR came out that I was really interested into getting into playing a lot more of. And it's funny because kind of our next topic kind of rings or kind of runs in that direction. Is one of the games I wanted to play but I never did was that Spider-Man game. The one where
Yeah,
like you can like web sling through like city and stuff like that. I've
yeah,
seen that and the Iron Man one. There was an Iron Man one that I thought was really cool. But the Spider-Man one is the one I saw a long time ago. I'm not even sure if it was like an official Spider-Man game or if it was like something that someone made that looked like Spider-Man and it was like, all right, well, here you get to experience what it's like to, web sling and stuff through the city. But
yeah.
apart from that and the idea of Spider-Man, right? There is a new movie coming out, and one I'm really excited for, and I know you are because you're actually seeing it this next Friday. And
Yep.
so I wanted to bring that up because I am not. I guess when it comes to movies, I like to kind of work around in my head, like, okay, what's gonna happen before I even see it, and like it doesn't even spoil it for me, and hopefully it doesn't spoil it for anyone else hearing like what we're gonna start taking guesses at because to me I like to think, oh, well, if this happens, this could happen, that kind of thing. There's already so many theories, right? So, like, one of the
Right.
theories I've heard is that, for instance, the Hulk being the only person that actually remembers Peter, because when the whole, like, memory wipe thing happened with the last movie, it only affect Bruce, but not the Hulk. So, because they're separate entities, and because the Hulk wasn't out at that moment when the Hulk comes back, he's supposed to remember who Spider-Man is, and so that's a big theory. If you want to share something of theory that you
Going along with that Hulk theory, I think both the Hulk and Bruce Banner are not going to remember Spider-Man. I like how in your theory it splits both personalities apart, but I have a feeling that both aren't going to know each other because in the trailer where Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk and that he does attack Spider-Man.
yeah.
So I don't believe Hulk has any memory of Spider-Man.
So the only thing I could say about that too is the Hulk knows who Tony is too, and who Iron Man is too, and
Right.
he's fought both of them too.
Yeah.
So that's the only I guess retort to that I could say is he could probably remember him, but he's still the Hulk. So
Yeah.
something's gonna probably some sort of drastic thing might happen where I think he clicks for him and he's like Peter kind of thing, or
Alright.
you might be right in that way that it's not going to and he's just gonna fight him. So how I imagine in my brain, right, in the movie is Spider-Man is wearing his Spider-Man suit and the Hulk shows up and all that stuff happens, and then at
Yeah.
some point Spider-Man's mask come off and then the Hulk sees him and then he snaps and is like, oh, that kind of thing. That's the only thing I can imagine where it could really pull Hulk out of his hulkiness, I guess, and recognize Peter, whoever Peter is to him. So, and then there are other theories too, because one of the things I'm curious about is, who Sadie Sink is?
No, I do not.
Okay,
I have
do you
no idea
know?
who Sadie Sink is.
So Sadie Sink is an actress that's going to be in the movie too, and she plays a part which I'm not sure what her part is because, and this is the speculative thing, right? Because no one really knows who she is, but people are guessing that she could be any one of these roles, where people are thinking that she's like the daughter of Spider-Man or something, or that she's playing what's her name, Gray, like a young Jean Grey or something like that. If you don't know who Sadie Sink is, she is the redheaded girl from Stranger Things. So if you know who Stranger
Oh,
Things
yeah.
is, yeah. So
Okay.
if you could kind of put the two together, kind of
Yeah.
picture it in your brain, but I've only seen really like snippets here and there of her in like the trailers and stuff, and that doesn't really much away. But I'm curious really to see who she's gonna play, and if any one of those things is even remotely close, I'd be really surprised because to me, I don't think it's either of them. Like being Peter's or Spider-Man's daughter, or unless she comes from like the future somehow, doesn't make sense because he's still trying to get them to remember him, or at least warm up to them in a way that they're still friends in
Yeah.
the movie. So that's how I imagine that part goes. Like he's still trying to get MJ to remember him, basically re-fall in love, I guess. And then Ned, I feel like Ned's gonna go the dark side. Like something's gonna
Ooh.
happen with that because he's already shaved his head, and they kind of tease it too in No Way Home, where all the Spider-Man's friends go bad at some point or other. So like Electro and becomes a bad guy and goes after Andrew Garfield's character, frickin' James Franco's character. I'm not sure if he becomes the Goblin at some point too and does the same thing. After Norman Osborn dies, then the son does the same thing, sort of thing. Anyways, it's mentioned too at one point during No Way Home where they talk about that in the scene where they're trying to make the cure for each one of them, and it's kind of like a weird nod towards that, and a lot of people think that he might actually become like some bad guy at some point to go against Spider-Man. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happened in this. Plus, if you guys don't remember, who else is also in the Spider-Man movie is freaking Frank Castle or the Punisher. So
Oh yeah.
that's a big nod towards a lot of things too. So I'm curious to see where that goes because in some of the comic books, or at least one or two of the comic books I can think of, the Punisher kills Spider-Man. So I don't think he's gonna kill Spider-Man in any of these, but it would be interesting to see what happens. And we already know from the trailers too that he starts developing his own biofilament, so he doesn't need the cartridges anymore. He can actually just do that thing. But the other little speculative thing that I'm curious about is in the cartoon series, there is a moment where Peter Parker becomes like a full-on mutated spider, and I'm really curious if they go that route and maybe like they cure him and stuff and maybe get stronger, blah blah blah. But I'm really curious by what could happen. But you'll get to see that before I will because I won't be able to see
Yep.
it this weekend at all. But no spoilers until next next time we meet.
I
But
got you. I got you.
you can let me know what you suspect might happen if you have anything that's sitting in your noggin for what might happen.
Yeah. So with some of the theories looking at, I remember there is a scene where he goes up to Bruce to talk about mutations,
Mhm.
because not only does Spider-Man now have the ability to create webs without cartridges, but in the trailers his eyes go black and he becomes more aggressive,
Mhm.
which makes a point directly to a cinematic spin on the comic books Man Spider,
Yes, man.
or a lingering piece of the leftover Venom symbiote, possibly.
Yeah, yeah, and I saw that too, and I'm curious about that one as well.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm curious about is, do you think that they would implement Doctor Doom into this movie, seeming as Avengers Doomsday is going to be coming out quite soon after this movie releases?
That's a good question because I mean he wasn't announced as one of the characters, so
Yeah, that's fair.
the only thing I can think of is I wouldn't be surprised if after the the like at the end credit sequence, right,
Right.
they show something from that, whether it's Doctor Doom himself or it's someone from those movies, like part of the cast we already know about, appearing and saying, "Hey, we need your help," or something
Yeah.
like that. The other thing too, it's already speculated that Doomsday will probably be part 1 of 2. So just like Endgame and what's the other one? There's Endgame,
Infinity War.
Infinity War, and Endgame. Yeah. So we already know those were like a part 1, part 2 kind of situation. It's believed the same for Doomsday, that Doomsday will happen. It'll be like the first part of it, and then a second part will come. And that's where I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man would be part of the second part of the iteration. And if that's true, I'm fine with that. If he's in the first one, I'm fine with that too. So
Gotcha.
I just don't imagine him being in this first one just because they haven't really touched on it, you know what I mean? The other thing too that kind of threw me off with the Doomsday, especially the latest trailer, is they show Captain America, but there's something off about him in the trailer. like something doesn't look right about his face in particular. That it looks like Steve, but it doesn't look like Steve. So I feel like they're
Hmm.
hiding something in the trailer, like they maybe like did a little touch up on him or something to hide the fact that it's not either actually him or it's a different version of him. Because if you do a side by side, and there's pictures out there too, there's a side by side
Yeah,
of what he looks like in the regular movies, and then of what he looks like in that scene. And there's like little things that are different, like his nose looks different and his eyebrows look a little different, and like it's just the shape of his head looks different. And it's like I saw one theory that was Steve never came back from the past, that
Okay.
this person is actually his son.
Hmm.
Because he did go back to, you know, the time with Agent, I forget her name,
Margaret. I think it's Margaret.
something like that, yeah. So he went back to her, you know, to be with her, and he has a child in the trailer, in one of the first trailers. He's holding a baby. So I'm thinking that this person isn't actually Steve Rogers, but possibly his son, which I can't remember his son's name from comics or anything like that, or if there's even like a specific name or anything like that. But I believe it could be a son person, like someone that is whoever that baby was. That's probably him.
Yeah, I'm looking at it currently. The baby is Sharon Rogers.
Sharon Rogers. Oh,
Yes, Sharon Rogers. And the person that Captain America went back to is Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter. That's right. Agent
Yes.
Carter. That's right. I don't know. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, and either way, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it, because I haven't seen an Avengers movie that I haven't enjoyed. So I hope also that they fix some things with the new Doomsday as well, because from the looks of it, there's gonna be more characters and stuff involved as well. I mean, Fantastic Four is gonna be there, so that's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be X-Men characters as well. They already showed Cyclops. They showed Gambit. They showed who else? Professor X. Yeah. So, and then if you guys saw the Comic-Con thing, I don't know if it's official or not, but they did show Deadpool there, like he was in the crowd, and I don't know if that's them basically saying, hey, he's gonna be here too, or what. So if he is part of it, that'd be really interesting. And I mean, his outfit that he was wearing was part of the X-Force. So, and X-Force was originally led by Wolverine. So maybe that's even pointing at the possibility of Wolverine even being in the movie. Even if it's a, you know, a very brief moment, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I pulled up the casting list for Avengers Doomsday, and if you wanted me to go over it, I can tell you what people are believing to be the cast of the Avengers.
Okay.
All right, so people are saying Mystique is going to be there.
Yes.
We got Professor X, as you just said.
Mm-hmm.
The one question I have, they have Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki.
Yes.
But Loki died in Infinity War, so I wonder how Loki is going to be involved in Doomsday.
So a version of him died.
Oh, okay.
So if you saw the show, the Loki show, he actually sees himself die in that moment, and he changes his fate, I think. Or it's a version of him that does technically die, but he does, the one that survives, or the version that we get to know more about, is in the show, and he becomes basically the keeper of like time or something. I can't remember that technical name, but there's a organization called the TVA, and they're in charge of making sure that the timeline between like the multiverse and stuff like that is consistent, and there's no new branches and stuff like that. And he just kind of takes over at the end of that, and it's believed that, you know, he has to be part of that, because Doom actually goes and tries to take over that part of TVA as well, at least speculatively. Like we only see parts of that in the trailer, I think, where I think Thor shows up and says, "Oh, it's Loki." Because Thor doesn't know he's alive. So
you're correct. Yeah. Otherwise, next character we have is King M'Baku of Wakanda. Yeah. He'll be in the movie. We got Sentry. I don't know who this character is.
So Sentry is from one of the newest movies from, it's basically the new Avengers. There was kind of like this misfit group of anti-heroes. So like for instance, the Winter Soldier, the sister of Black Widow, I forget her name, and then I forget the other guy's name too. The guy that tried to take over for Captain America, but kind of failed miserably. I think he has another name. I can't remember. I think it's called. I can't remember. But he's played by Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell, I think is his name. But Sentry was like kind of the bad guy in that movie, but then he became a good guy when he kind of fought against himself because so what a lot of people don't know about Sentry is he's basically Marvel's Superman, but he has kind of a dark side to him, like a literal dark side to him. So if something happens with his psyche, basically his dark side comes out, which is called the Void, and he's like the literal opposite of Sentry, where he's like fucking evil, like really, really bad, and he's really hard to stop, and they had to stop him with hugs in the movie, but basically,
Yeah.
And so if he's in it, that should be really interesting.
Yeah. Another character, and the one that you were referencing connected to Black Widow, is Yelena Belova.
Yes.
That is the blonde woman that is in Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, that's the movie I was thinking of.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then you got Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay. Shang-Chi is in it. Yeah, okay.
Shang-Chi, yeah. And then you got The Thing, which is part of the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
You got Bucky coming back as the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Sam Wilson is taking place of Captain America because at the ending of Endgame, Captain America went back in time to be Peggy, and he's old now. He gave the shield to Sam Wilson, and Sam Wilson has made movie in the MCU timeline as Captain America.
Yeah, so yeah, he becomes he is technically the new Captain America. So what is believed that when Steve comes back that he may be called the Nomad. It's believed that Steve is back. He's not going to be Captain America. He's going to be likely the Nomad. And it's actually interesting too because a lot of people thought he was the Nomad when he came back in because he didn't have his shield or anything. He had that weird thing he got from the Wakandans instead. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, he did give his shield away. I wouldn't be surprised if he's technically the Nomad in Doomsday. So,
all right, you got Invisible Woman, who is another one of the Fantastic Four.
Of course.
You got Thor coming back. I wonder now, I haven't watched any of the movies that Thor has been in since Endgame. Is Thor still pretty pudgy, to put it in? No, he's not. Okay.
No. Yeah, he's slimmed down.
Okay. You got Mr. Fantastic, of course, one of the Fantastic Four. And then, of course, at Comic-Con, they revealed that Robert Downey Jr. will be coming back as Dr. Doom.
Yes. They actually announced that last year.
Yes, I remember that last year.
Yeah, and then of course
now
everyone knew that part, but,
yeah, my question is, will they find out who is behind Doctor Doom in this movie, or is Doom just going to be behind the mask the entire time?
Oh no, I'm certain they will know it's him.
Oh, okay. I wonder how that will play out.
I'm pretty sure they hint at it in the newest trailer, but yeah, part of it is so. This is how I imagine it in the movie. When Doctor Doom comes to our timeline, because he's not from our world, right? Obviously,
yeah, right.
Because he's essentially Tony Stark, but he's coming from a different Earth to our universe or to their universe. So what I imagine happens is when he comes to our world as, basically Tony Stark, and he sees Pepper and, his daughter, something's going to change where he either takes off his masks to greet his daughter and for like the first time, so she could see him and he could see her kind of thing. That's how I imagine it happening in the movie. Maybe it's like a turning point, right? But I have a feeling the other way that could happen is someone gets his hands or gets their hands on him and knocks the mask off, and it becomes obvious then. Or the other thing is like he already knows what Tony Stark did in their world, and to fuck with their minds, he takes off the mask and says, "Hey, look who I am," and messes with them further. So there's a handful of things I imagine he, as Doctor Doom, being a fucking madman and a genius, would definitely do to mess with the Avengers or anyone that knows Tony, their universe is Tony. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens really with that. But yeah, that's how I imagine it happening when it's a reveal in the movie.
Gotcha. I guess another question I have is, when do you think this will take place in the we know it's going to be at the next movie in the timeline, but how long between the last movie and this movie do you think would it be?
Well, so Thunderbolt, it happens not long after Thunderbolts. So,
Okay.
because at the end of Thunderbolts, like, you see there's a little post-credit thing where the Fantastic Four land. And the Thunderbolts happens, I think, like 3 years or something like that after the last movie or whatever. And then when the Fantastic Four, at the end of the Fantastic Four movie, is when you see Doom.
Okay.
So Doom shows up at the end of Fantastic Four, and he's talking to, or he's interacting with their son. Which, if you don't know who the son is,
There's Franklin Richards. Yeah.
So Franklin Richards is the most powerful mutant, like pretty much not, I wouldn't say ever, but within this timeline, that's why Doctor Doom wants him too, by the way. Like, he knows that he could do something with him, whether he wants to try to take his power away from him. Because if you don't know, Franklin's ability is basically matter manipulation. He can create and destroy things at will. So in theory, Franklin could destroy the universe. So,
Yeah.
and he could create, he literally creates in the comics, he creates like pocket universes. So he's crazy powerful. He's a cosmic level mutant, so there's not very many of those.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Infinity himself shows up, or themselves shows up. So it'd be really interesting to see if Franklin has anything to like a big part in the Doomsday movie. But it's gonna be a long movie. I'm betting, if I had to guess at like the length of time this movie's gonna be, it's probably like 3 or 4 hours long. Like, I would not be surprised if it's like 3.5. I'd be fine with that. But if it's longer, like 4 hours, then I'd be just more excited, honestly.
Let me see. I want to see how long Endgame was.
Pretty
Endgame
sure
was
it's-
3 hours and a minute.
Yeah. So it was a long one. And then there was supposed to be a version of it, like a longer version of it, was I think like an extra 15 or 20 minutes or something, where they added like little bits here and there that weren't really important, but it kind of added to the characters. Like, I think it added to Thor's whole thing, and I think there was something going on with what else there was a scene with Ant-Man and his group too, because there was the whole Quantumania thing, and yeah. But anyways, I still haven't seen that movie either. I need to
Really?
watch that one. Yeah, the Ant-Man
Wow. Okay.
Quantumania
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Oh, I
I
haven't
haven't.
watched that either. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 Marvel movies I haven't seen. I keep forgetting about. Is the third Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yep.
the third Ant-Man movie. So I've
Got
seen so many clips of all of them though, that I feel like I've basically seen it. So, and that's
Yeah.
the other thing too. I wouldn't be surprised if the Guardians show up for the second iteration of the Doomsday thing too, because they haven't. I don't think they were announced either. So that should be interesting. What other characters?
Other characters. There is a secondary cast. We can go through them. You got Shuri, who is the new Black Panther.
For now, yeah.
Yep. You got Gambit. Gambit's returning.
Mm-hmm.
You got John Walker. He's a U.S. agent. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how important he is to the MCU.
Yeah, so he was one of the Thunderbolts. He's
okay.
the one that, yeah, he tried to take over for Captain America. Like, he had his shield for a minute, and then it was taken away from him, and then he got his own version of the shield.
Got it.
But yeah, he's not a bad guy. Like, basically the whole Thunderbolts group is just a handful of anti-heroes. So yeah, they're like good guys, but not really great guys, So
yeah. You got Scott Lang coming back as Ant-Man, so he will be there in some form. You got Falcon, who is Joaquin Torres. I don't know if they've made another Falcon movie, so I'm interested in seeing who this new Falcon is.
So if you saw the Captain America, did you see the last Captain America?
Nope.
Okay, so the last Captain America movie, it was when the Red Hulk was there.
Yeah.
And So during that movie, there was that character that played the Falcon is like another guy that was in like the Air Force or something like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
he basically passed his Falcon suit over to him, and it was just another guy that was like really close to him. So like when he became Captain America, he just like got promoted essentially.
Yeah. Another character we have is the Human Torch. So another one of the Fantastic Four. Funny enough, they aren't in the main cast; they're in the other cast. So I wonder how big his importance is going to be to the movie.
It's probably bigger than they're letting on. That's for sure.
It could be for sure.
But
You got Cassie Lang. I believe that's Scott Lang's.
yes,
Is it daughter?
yes, yeah,
Yes.
she
Okay.
is. Yeah, she's. I think she's kind of in the same group as the other. So there's Ant-Man, Wasp, and then her, which I'm not sure what her nickname is, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. You got Magneto.
Yeah.
You got Cyclops.
hmm
You got Ghost. I'm not sure who Ghost is.
Ghost is another one of the Thunderbolts.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She was in the second Ant-Man movie as kind of the villain,
Okay.
but then she becomes good after that. She can like,
Gotcha.
walk through walls and shit like that. She uses
Alright.
like a form of like quantum entanglement thing or something. I don't remember whatever it's called, but yeah, she can walk through walls and shit. She's really cool.
Gotcha. Okay. We got Namor.
Yeah, so he is from the second Black Panther movie. He was the
Oh,
villain
okay.
from that one. Yeah,
Gotcha.
another kind of anti-hero.
Gotcha. We got a character named Love.
That I believe is the daughter of
Oh yeah. Looks
of
like Punisher.
no Thor.
No.
Like, does she have lines on her eyes?
Oh,
Lines
I
over
don't
her eyes?
see the only picture I'm getting doesn't really show her face that well, but it does look like Thor on the right side that I'm looking at.
Yeah, yeah. So it's Love and Thunder from the last movie.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So she was the daughter of. But yeah, she's basically she was adopted by Thor, and she. But she's
Okay.
strong though. She can use. I think she can use Mjolnir.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's sick. One of the Thunderbolts characters that you mentioned was Alexei Shostakov, which is the Red Guardian. That's by that character is by
David Harbour.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he's great just in general. Like he's a
Yeah.
great actor and funny and yeah, I'm looking forward to him being part of all that too. That's a big role for him, I think, and I'm glad he got it. Who else is there?
We got Beast from X-Men,
okay.
I believe, right?
I wonder which version they're gonna do. If they're gonna do Kelsey Grammer.
It's Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And then you were correct. Chris Evans will be coming back as Steve Rogers / Captain America.
Yeah.
So I wonder in what capacity he would be in this movie now that he is much older.
I mean, he's only maybe 5 years older than what he was when he left, technically.
I guess, yeah, technically speaking.
But I don't know. It depends on how long he was gone, technically, because that's the weird thing, right? So he would have to figure out. Maybe he froze himself again or something.
I don't believe he did.
He would have to figure out time travel.
Yeah.
But he's all the way back in like the 60s, I think.
I
50s or
believe
60s.
so. 60s, I believe.
So unless he figured out time travel, actually, there's one way I think he could do it, and that would be if he went to Howard Stark and explained to him, "Hey, I'm technically from the future. Your son's done this, this, and this. Can you help me out?" And go from there. And the only other thing is maybe being frozen, or maybe actually that's the way that Howard Stark does it. Is he makes like some cryogenic pod and then like sets a timer on it, like on Futurama or some shit, and then it gets woken up at the right time or something. But that's the only way I can imagine it, because they don't have any version of time travel back that far. Unless they use the same way as maybe they send someone back to him where they know he is. But that's the thing, though, is like the time travel explanation that they have in Endgame would say that wouldn't work. It would be a different like branch. So
yeah,
I think they would have to have him either get frozen or figure out how to create time travel from the point where he is in the past to the future. Because that's the thing. Even realistic science says you can't go back in the past. You can only go forward in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, who else?
I just want to fucking hit on Chris Evans again. what I was gonna say is in Endgame he is an old person now, so
Oh, that's
I don't
because he
think.
stayed. That's when he stayed in the
Yeah,
past and then lived out until, after Peggy died, and he
yeah,
was basically watching everyone as like time passed. But this is how I imagine it happened: is like somehow he gets a message from like the
okay,
future, or he figures out like during the time in his past, like done doing what he's supposed to do in the future,
okay,
and then he like has to leave or something like that. Because
okay.
in the trailer, you see him in the newest trailer, you see him, he doesn't look that old. Like he looks
Oh, okay,
maybe only like 5 years older than the time he left the first time. So
okay.
there's only so many things they could do. Like I said, like they either had to send someone back in time to bring him to the future through whatever means, or he created some sort of like freezing pod or something that would freeze him until, because I mean that's how he got to the future the first time, is he got
Gotcha.
frozen
Okay.
in the Antarctic
Yeah,
or something. So
yeah. All right. The next character coming back is Nightcrawler, which I believe is another X-Men. Am I correct?
yes, that's interesting. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. They're bringing the same guy. I think his name what was
Alan
his name?
Cumming.
Alan Cumming. Yeah. So it's this original guy from the original X-Men movies, the ones back in
All
like
right.
early 2000s. So he's gonna be the Nightcrawler. That's great. I love that Nightcrawler. So I can't wait to see him back again too.
Hell yeah. Next character we have is Nomura. I haven't heard of this character before.
I know that name. I'm trying to remember. I'm guessing she's also from Black Panther too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I never. That's another one I forgot to see is Black Panther 2. I need
Yeah,
I need to get Disney Plus and knock those out before the
yeah.
Doomsday comes out.
And then the last character coming back is Peggy Carter.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense now. Like that
Yeah,
actually adds up. So we know maybe she made the choice to send him back, or come back together, because she in a different reality, and maybe that's the thing too, she could be coming from a different reality. Actually, Steve Rogers too could be coming from a different reality, just like freaking Dr. Doom.
yeah.
But if I had to guess, it's probably just the regular version of her, but there's another version of her where she becomes Captain America. So if you ever
Oh yeah.
saw
I
the
it,
well, it's not
it
Captain
was
America though, it's like the
it was
British
Doctor
version.
Strange. Was it Doctor Strange? Multiverse of Madness. I did
Yeah,
fear.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she's like the UK version of not Doctor Strange,
Of
of
Captain America.
Captain America. Yeah, I forget what her name is, but yeah, you could probably already picture her in your mind. But that's the only other thing that I could say is she's either coming back as her normal version, or she's coming back as the Captain America version, which would be really cool to see them like fight side by side, because I don't think they've ever, as far as I know, I don't think they ever did that, which could be a good or bad thing, because some people are really touchy about, the comics, consistency and stuff like that.
Yeah. She was Captain Carter in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
Captain
Madness.
Cart. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And speaking of
works.
which, I remember in the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, he does get the curse after using the demonic spells. And in the cast listings, he doesn't show up. So I wonder what exactly happened to him.
Well, from the end, yeah. So he gets the eye of Agamotto or whatever, or
Yeah,
whatever.
I have
Or
Agamotto. It is.
yeah, so he gets that thing on his forehead. I don't think it's actually called that. I think it's Dormammu. I think it's the Eye of Dormammu or something like that. I'm not 100% sure if that's the right name of it, or if it even has a name. But yeah, at the end though, he actually ends up running into another character that, I mean, people that are familiar with the comic books would know who she is. But it's played by Charlize Theron. So she shows up like through a portal and says, "Hey, we need your help in a different dimension." So that's probably where he is.
All right.
And I'm betting that she's probably dealing with the same problem, where Doctor Doom is going from different universes back to back trying to find something. And specifically, I think it's Franklin. So, but she shows up, pulls, Doctor Strange into that universe and goes from there. So she's also really powerful, by the way, and I think she's supposed to be his wife or something. I'm not 100% sure what her Clea. Yeah, Clea Strange. Literally, Clea is a powerful sorceress from the Dark Dimension, a Faultine humanoid hybrid and a major character in Marvel Comics known as Doctor Strange's disciple, lover, and eventual wife, and his successor as Sorcerer Supreme. She is the niece of Dormammu, so that's a big thing. A powerful magical being with abilities like energy projection, teleportation, and flight, and has ruled her home dimension, fought alongside the Defenders, and taken on the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme after Strange's death. So yeah, that's the other thing that we have to consider too. So he's probably with her in a totally different dimension at this point and figuring out what's going on there. By the time we see him again, they might already be together like for a long time. Like they might as well be married, you know, and stuff. So that's something to consider there. But I know there's a lot of people that have seen like there's a literal Easter egg image that Marvel put out of Doctor Doom holding an Easter basket, and each of the eggs in the Easter basket have like a symbol or like some sort of, you know, something that indicates a different character. And Doctor Strange is on there, but he hasn't been announced. So who knows at this point? I figure it's probably one of those situations where they mention him now, but he's probably going to be in like the second iteration or maybe a secret, you know, arrival later. Like probably in credits thing at the end of Doomsday, which would be pretty interesting. Because I feel like Doctor Doom is really powerful, like crazy powerful. There's videos of like, I think there's a fan-made video where he basically one-shots Thanos. So
Damn.
yeah, like no joke, like that happens in the comics too. That someone made a fan-made version of it where Thanos with the Infinity or with his without his Infinity Gauntlet, but Doom or Doctor Doom just grabs him and he just rips his skull and spine out of Thanos like it's nothing. Yeah, just decimates him really easily. Like Doctor Doom is by far one of the worst villains, like worse in the way of like powerful. Yeah, it should be really interesting to see where they go with that. I'm still kind of shocked that they picked Robert Downey Jr. for that, but
yeah, that is pretty surprising.
It's also kind of strange how much I'm okay with it now as opposed to when they first announced it. Because at first I was like, what the fuck are they thinking? And then now, like, the more I see, like, more of the content coming out or the trailers and things, I'm like, okay, this could be actually interesting. This could be a huge change from what everyone expected. So I'm really eager to see what they. But yeah, I think we could probably move on to another topic.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, streaming, like we talked about this, probably doing the podcast, maybe a streaming version of it at some point. But I know it's going to be a little bit rough the first time because this is going to be a whole new channel. We've already developed that: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitch, all these channels made specifically for the EnterKeyExperience and for us to kind of build up on. I mean, this is going to be our pilot episode essentially. And yeah, it'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting more to see where it goes, who will actually listen to it. Yeah, and of course I'll keep you updated on and by you I mean Astro, but also like anyone that listens, like see where it goes, right? That being said, I think this is the perfect time to mention, or at least chat about, the pet peeves of being a streamer. Because we've both been streamers for a bit. I'm a little bit newer to the Twitch side of it. I started back in April, but I think I've done pretty well to get to where I am. I got affiliate in about a month or so. And then, I'm steadily climbing, I guess. But where I'm, I guess, thriving is kind of a strong word, but I think I'm doing pretty well is with my Instagram, where, I'm getting like 1 million views a month or something like that. And my follower count's going up every day, not like crazy amount, which is fine. I'm not waiting for the day that I wake up and I check my followers and I have like 1 million followers in like overnight kind of thing. I would actually be a little afraid of that, I think, if that ever happened. But, it's one of those things, as you grow, especially as a streamer, where you're constantly having to do so much to kind of speak with your followers or the viewers and things like that. There's a lot that happens. So with that being said, there's a lot of things that happen specifically with, the streamer and the viewer, that can be irksome, I guess is one way to put it. I'll give you the opportunity to tell me and everyone out there, what is one of your biggest pet peeves as a streamer?
Do you want me to do both as a creator and then what I think viewers have pet peeves for the streamer?
I would say as a creator first. Like,
Okay.
what is the first thing you've ever experienced that's probably the most consistent? Because I can think of one right off the bat.
I
Right,
could
that
think
I think
of one as well.
the one thing that literally every streamer probably complains about, that is a huge one, right? But I'll let you take it because I have a feeling I know which one it is.
Yeah. The one pet peeve that I have as a creator is there is a lot of bots that will enter your chat trying to sell viewers or trying to sell you custom overlays or alerts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing I hate.
Yeah.
Is most of them would, yeah.
Give me an example. Like, give me like your worst interaction with something like that. Like your very first interaction was probably the worst because you didn't expect it, right?
Yeah. I remember I was playing a game called Dispatch and I had this person come and chat. They seemed like a regular chatter. They were like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" I said I'm good. I asked them how they were doing, and they said good. And we were having a normal conversation talking about where we live, this, and that. And then they all of a sudden pitched to me like, "Hey, I make overlays, alerts, and stuff. Would that be something you're interested in?" And I would say no, and then they'd go away. And then an hour or two later, it's not the same person, but another bot comes in and does the same exact shit.
Yep.
That's what I've hated. I've had so many people who I thought were real viewers who actually cared and chatted, and halfway through the chat they'll just try and sell their overlays and emotes and alerts, and I'm like, why would you try to bait me as like you're a good viewer and then be like, hey, I'm selling shit to you?
Exactly. And I share the same exact thing as far as a pet peeve, specifically when honestly, it's not even the thing that they're trying to sell that bugs me. It's the fact that most of the time they don't even consider that they're talking to a real person. If it is a bot, like if it's like a legit bot where it's someone that's programmed to type out these prompts or whatever, then that's easy to spot because most of the time they pop in, they'll be like, "Oh, buy this thing right now," and then you just click and they're gone. But then it's the ones that will come into your chat and be like, "Hey, your stream's awesome. I've been watching for the last 10 minutes. I'm just letting you know this is great. I think you're great. I'm going to follow right now. I'm following right now." Blah, blah, blah. And then you have this like 10-minute conversation and you feel like it's a legit person. And then all of a sudden they just start dropping these like hints. Like, "Oh, I noticed you don't have these emotes. Or I noticed your banner is kind of like, like it could be so much better. It could look so professional and blah, blah, blah." And you just like, huh, okay. And like the first time for me, I was thinking, oh, maybe this is like a legit artist that's just trying to get out there. They're trying to be seen, which is understandable. An artist is a hard thing to be. Like a legit artist who has skills and, went to school or, developed a skill and a style of their own and things like that. Like, that's amazing. I hold nothing to that person that's trying to be seen as an actual creator. But every single time, it's one of these people that come in here and they were like, "Oh yeah, what's your Instagram or what's your Discord, blah blah blah, let me send you this message. I'm going to show you my artwork. You're going to think it's amazing. I could do some custom work. Don't worry about it. I'll be flexible with your money. Like I'll do even $10 or $20. Just let me like show you blah blah blah." And then you give them a chance just to humor them or just to let them like calm down on, because they're just basically spamming your chat. And then all of a sudden they send you some stuff, and this has happened literally 3 days in a row from different people sending me the exact same artwork with different names and different images, but the exact same style. And you could tell that it's AI. Like it's 100% AI. It's someone that has no skill, no effort involved at all, typing this stuff in, and they're just sending it to you in droves. Like they're just AI dumping this stuff into your inbox, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think? Let us know." I'll, just and like, well, no, 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 no. Like I'm gonna go full Nikki on this person, being like,
Yeah.
"No, this is not for me." And yeah, it drives me crazy every time, and that's why I've had to at some point go on my Discord and put this in the rules, put this in my chat rules too, just saying, hey, no advertising, no soliciting, blah blah blah. If you want to sell something to me, you have to get authorization in the form of, hey, like literally, I have to say it out loud. Please send me your information. Please send me some whatever because I'm interested, and that's it. Like that's the only way I'm gonna want to see this shit, and it happens regardless, no matter what. It's
Yeah.
freaking and I'm like, bam, gone. Like I'm not gonna deal with that.
Yeah. Similar story is like how I met my artist. I had my artist come by when I first hit affiliate. They were like congratulating me, and they asked me like what my Instagram was. I gave them my Instagram, and they showed their work. They showed testimonials from other streamers, and they showed a bunch of their art styles. And they were like, "Oh yeah, because you are recently an affiliate and all that, I'll do special pricing for you for your first time."
Yeah.
But I haven't had that to the extent of you, where it was like 3 days in a row, people selling that. My problem most of the time is I get bots like trying to sell
Views or follows or
yeah.
yeah.
I don't get the artists like you do, so that's pretty interesting to hear.
Yeah, I get them almost. So this is how I know most of the time when it's like going to be someone like that too, because now I'm starting to notice right away too. If I'm sitting in let's say I started a new game and I know I'm probably the only one there, no one else is watching me. So like if I already have someone watching me, we have a friend that named X that will jump in and he'll just lurk and watch, but if he's not there or if someone else isn't in the chat, they'll come in when there's no one else and they'll start saying stuff like, "Hey, I just followed you." And I'll be like, "Oh, there it is. I know it. I know that
Yep.
tag." And so like I'll just wait. I'll be like, "Oh, hey, thank you for following," just to see what happens. And it'll slowly build up. They'll be like, "Oh, where are you from?" Blah blah blah, and they'll just kind of build you up, kind of be friendly with you, and then out of nowhere, like 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, they'll be like, "Oh, you know what? I think your stuff looks great. Let me get your Instagram." And I know right when they say that, yep, it's like hook, line, and sinker, right? For them,
Yep.
they think they got me, and then all I have to do is when they send me that friends request or they send me that message, I just click on their little picture and I could see on their profile all the art that they're about to send me, and then I know like, okay, nah, I'm not going down this road again. I ain't doing all
Yep.
this shit. Like like I said, I don't have a problem with actual artists. I have a problem with people trying to shill out AI stuff to me who claim that they're artists when I can tell, like, I can 100% tell it's AI because I've made the same shit before, just messing around with it, and it looks identical, like 100% identical, unless they're going to the same fucking art school. Like, what the fuck? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. What's another pet peeve?
Streamer wise or like viewers reacting to the
Either or, really, at this point.
I guess another pet peeve, and this is me, I'm not sure if it's you, but I'll when I'm doing party games such as Jackbox and Mecha, there'll be a lot of people like trying to control what game we play or what map we pick, and if we don't do that, they get fucking pissed because they weren't you didn't pick the specific map they wanted to, even though majority of the chat wanted something else.
Yeah.
And then they'll just cause a ruckus in chat because
Yeah, I think I haven't had to deal with that too much. I think most of the people on my end of things have been pretty chill. I do notice that with you, like some of the people that have jumped into your chat have been a little bit more rowdy than some of the ones I've dealt with.
Definitely.
I think the one that gets me, besides the bots and the fake artists and stuff like that, I'm trying to think. There's not too many other ones. Oh, I know the ones that want to play with you.
Yeah.
So like I have no problem playing with like most people, right? But when they start pressing you and pressing you and pressing you, like, hey, can I join out? Hey, can I join out? Hey, can like come on. Like right now I'm just trying to like do this thing, right? And like if you don't want to watch me, that's fine. Like I'm 100% like I get it. Like you want to interact. But see, what happens when I let people join me, because I've let a few people join me just completely random people I've never met in my life. They take over. They like start doing things like they're trying to show off or something, and it's like, okay, I guess like that's cool, but like it doesn't really do anything for me. Like I kind of want to experience. That's the whole reason I'm playing the game usually, is like I want to experience it with fresh eyes. I want to do something myself. But then, like for example, I let one guy join me, and then one of his friends join into the party. Like, okay, whatever, they're here. There was no voice chat or anything, so it didn't matter. Like I couldn't hear what they're saying or anything like that. And he was pretty much talking through the chat. But then we're going through the level, and he's wiping everything out because he's like fucking max level or something. I'm like on level 1, and he's just killing everything. And I'm like, this is cool. Like I'm grateful that you're carrying me through this, I guess. But at the same time, I'm like, it's kind of ruining it for me, because I also kind of want to do it at my own pace and not feel like you're doing me a favor because I let you join. Like it feels a little, weird. And like I almost want to feel bad because I can't tell the person like, dude, you're fucking with my playthrough. But it's just, yeah, that's why I don't like, unless I know the person like really well, or if they've been a part of like the Discord for a while and I've actually talked to them and I can kind of get like a vibe figured out. I just tell people like, okay, I'm only doing like a me stream right now, or I'd be like, oh, it's a subscriber only thing or something, and then it's whatever. But yeah, it's I think part of the thing is like I don't like disappointing people. I'm like a people pleaser, so I don't want to be a dick to someone, and it's really hard not to be a dick when people pull shit like that.
Yeah.
And like I don't think all of them are trying to do that. I think some people are actually trying to be genuinely like nice and be like, oh, let me do this for you. But it's not the same when it's a new experience, like that I'm trying to do. Like if it was a playthrough I've done like 1,000 times and they wanted to join me just to go wreck through like some mission or something, cool. I'm totally fine with that. But when it's like the first time and I'm like level 1, just let me do my thing.
Yeah. I think another pet peeve that I have, which is kind of like yours, is instead of them like asking to join the game of that, I had a viewer in chat. What they would do is I would do a collab with streamers using Twitch's stream together. And what they would always do is they would try to knock to get in the collaboration to stream as well. And I always felt that was a little disrespectful because of the fact that I would be collabing with new people. They don't know my community in that, and I don't want to have some of my chatters like trying to join in this collab if they weren't asked to join in the first place.
Yeah, if they're not like asking, like if there's no communication first,
yeah,
like that's kind of fucked up. Like
it is kind of fucked up.
It's like it's assuming too much.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I haven't had that problem. I don't think anyone's just randomly knocked. Like shoot, I would love it if any one of the people that I actually follow knocked for me. Like, and like I follow some big people like Stormfall and Markiplier and PewDiePie and shit. You imagine if one day one of those big names just knocked and you just like started co freaking streaming with one of them? I'd be like, oh hey, what's up? Like what's going on?
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah.
Why why here? And then you have to like tiptoe through the tulips for them. But
yeah, I've had some Twitch verify. I've had Twitch partners in chat, but I haven't collabed with a Twitter yet.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of funny when you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really cool. I just, when you think about it, it's kind of like being the freshman in high school and then finding out that the senior wants to chill with you, you know? And they're like the actually cool, you know, senior that's not trying to make you do something stupid or, you know, or shove you into a locker. Like they're actually like there to support you, and it's like, huh, okay. I appreciate that, you know. And that's a huge thing just as a creator too. Like when you find out, you know, another creator's following you, doesn't matter if they're big or small. It's just like that's really cool. Like this is the opposite of pet peeves at this point. Like this is amazing. We want to see more people be inspired by what we're doing, and vice versa. You know, and like that would be inspiring to me if I was just playing one day and freaking Jacksepticeye joined my chat, and I'm like, wait a second, are you actually? Is this Sean? Or Sean, what are you doing here? Like, you have better things to do. You need to work on that Bloodborne. Yeah, he's working on the animated version of Bloodborne. You need to be working on that, not in my stream. I need to see that when it comes out.
Yeah, I will say, Jacksepticeye has announced in one of his YouTube videos that he is doing Thankmas this year because last year. But instead of Thankmas just being on those couple of days in December and all that, it's going to be like a 5-month-long thing.
What the hell?
Where you could, sign up to register yourself as a streamer for Thankmas, and you could have the opportunity of having Jacksepticeye like show up just to donate to your channel, and the donation would proceed to Thankmas.
I mean,
so that's one way to try and get him in your chat.
I mean, I wouldn't even care if he did that. I think honestly, here's the thing with, and this is totally off topic, but here's the thing with me. If these individuals, they're basically celebrities, right? Twitch celebrities or otherwise. If any one of them, because I'm such a chill person for the most part, I think that if any one of these guys just wanted to hang out, I'd be like, sure. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not intimidated by something like that. I'd just be like, you know, I'd be wanting to ask so many questions, you know? And I feel like in that way, I'd be like, oh shit. Like, maybe am I annoying now that I'm like, you know, asking all these questions and stuff? So
yeah, I'm not sure if you want to continue on the pet peeve. I think I have one more I could talk about.
Yeah. What's the other pet peeve you were thinking about?
The last pet peeve that I could think about, and this is something that I need to work on, but I appreciate that you do, is you do not have your viewer count on.
Oh yeah.
I, on the other hand, have my viewer count on, and I can tell you from just watching that viewer count, it does affect my mood. And it sucks that I look at viewer count, I look at my metrics and analytics, and if they're going down, I just feel upset.
Yeah, the worst part of it is it's not entirely accurate either, especially in the moment. Because you could look at it, it'll say like 1 or 0 or whatever, and then the next minute it says 5, but those 5 people could have like been gone already for like 10 minutes or something, and it just hasn't updated. And that's probably the most frustrating thing about being on Twitch, is like the inaccuracy of little things like that. I mean, it's not anything I don't think they can help that though. And that's why I think maybe this is a tip. I don't know if it would be considered a tip, but one thing I would say to either you or anyone that would listen that would be wanting to do something like this is staying on top of what you're doing in the stream, communicating out loud, whether you're narrating or trying to talk to people that aren't actually there, is probably one of the best things you can do. Because even if someone's just watching and just kind of catching what you're saying, if they hear anything that they think is mildly entertaining, or like they have a question about what you're doing or whatever it is, that moment when they respond in chat is the best version of a analytic that you can get, where you can actually for sure know that someone's there, is the moment they start chatting. Chatters are the best thing you can get, because this, like I said, like the moment you see a chat, you know they're there. Even though even that is slightly skewed when it's the time, like it's like depending on your ping or whatever it is, it could be, you know, like 3 seconds, or it can be 10 seconds. Or back when I first started streaming, and for some reason my lag or my delay was so bad, it was like a whole minute before I saw a freaking message pop up. It was so bad then. But now, once you figure out all your settings and stuff, you could start seeing those things pop up within 3 seconds, and you could actually respond. And that's the thing you have to do. You have to respond to every message just to kind of engage and get them engaged, because you can engage as much as you want, but it's when they engage that actually matters, because you know that you're kind of retaining that person's attention. So I hope that's a good tip. I think that's a good tip, at least.
Yeah, I
And
believe so.
and that's kind of why I do it, but I also kind of do it subconsciously. Like, I don't always think about what I'm saying when I'm saying it, when I'm kind of narrating myself or narrating what I'm doing, or just, I don't even know if it's technically narrating as much as it is just kind of thinking out loud half the time. Or like, running around being like, oh, look what that is, and just kind of saying shit to say shit, because the moment you're sitting there holding your controller or you're on your keyboard and you're like this, and you're just like you're just staring blankly at the screen, and all you hear is the click clacks of your mouse or your keyboard, that whoever's watching for that second is not going to be interested in that. So like, you have to kind of keep talking and keep going. And if anything, if there's a pet peeve attached to any of that, it's the fact that people don't say hi when they first join the chat, and they just stare or wait for you to, I guess, somehow realize they're there. But we don't know until you chat or we see a number change on the viewership thing, which is, like I said, never accurate. It's never going to be exactly like, it doesn't, like, the second you pop in, go bing, like you're there now. It takes minutes sometimes for it to actually count. If you do chat, that's, like I said, it's the best way for any streamer to know that you're there. So if you want to engage with someone that's a streamer, start chatting them up. Like, you gotta say something. And that's a streamer talking to a viewer right there. Like, you gotta let us know you're there, because we want to talk to you. Believe me, the second we know that you're there and you have questions, or if you're just saying hi, we'll be like, hey, how you doing? How's your day doing? And, blah, blah, blah. And we'll just go off and, start talking to the game about you. Like, that's one of the things I do, is like, hey, have you played this game before? I mean, you're watching me. So have you experienced what I'm experiencing right now? I think if it ends up being like one of those people where it's the first time they've ever been there before and they actually curious about the game in general, that's the best time to get them locked in, is to talk about what you're doing. Like, oh, this is the best way to do this thing, like farm this item, or unlock this character, or whatever it is. Honestly, in some cases, that makes them a viewer for life, because they're gonna realize, hey, you just helped me with my own game. I'll be coming back for more tips. So but I mean, that's what we hope for, at least. That's what we hope for. We hope people will look at us and hear us and be like, oh, that's actually interesting, or that's funny, or like whatever it is. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up the pet peeves topic, and actually kind of flowing into that too, because I mentioned how you'll play a game, and I'm a pretty casual gamer. Like, I am not a hardcore gamer in any way, shape, or form. I don't try hard. I'm not trying, but I'm also not a competitive gamer either. And that's the difference between, I think, a lot of streamers and myself. You usually see these people trying to be a little bit more than, I think, is like their normal self, if that makes sense. Because I find, especially when someone's doing the competitive side of things, they're being loud, they're getting angry, they're getting upset, they're yelling at their screen, they're throwing their keyboard or their mouse or their controller or whatever it is, and they just, like, I guess that's entertaining to some people.
To some people.
But also, that's, I think, why being a casual player kind of gives you an advantage when it comes to your viewers, is you actually have a chance to talk to them rather than yelling at a screen or a game that really doesn't matter. So, but what would you say is your play style, like, when it comes to, like, gaming, right? I guess it depends on the game, of course, but
yeah, it depends on the game. I have a history of being an esports player for Overwatch and Rocket League, and during the times that I was streaming that game, I would constantly just get upset and yell and all that. So in competitive games, I could definitely be competitive, but when it comes to story games and like friend swap games and whatever else may be the case, I'm more casual. Only time when I really get loud is when I'm trying to like make jokes or just have a rebuttal with friends,
yeah,
that's the only time when I get
that totally. I think some jokes just land better when there's a little bit more animation behind it too. And
Yeah.
I think that's the other part of it too, when you have other great like streamers and stuff that have like this really animated style to them or animated persona. And actually we were just talking about him, like Sean or Jacksepticeye, who is very loud, and like he's very well known for being like the loud top of the morning to you, and like
Yep.
it's like that whole thing. And that he's kind of cemented himself into this like online persona that's like very loud and boisterous and stuff. But if you've ever watched him in like a regular interview, he's like very chill and like a normal guy. And I think that throws a lot of people off when they watch him during like the Christmas thing. Like he wasn't like
Yeah.
super out there or anything most of the time. Only when he was like trying to make a joke or interacting with certain people. Like he was interacting with Jack Black one time, and he was just,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was, you could see his persona just come out then. And yeah, like it, I think that's one of those things that throw people off a lot of times when you're a viewer and you jump into this chat or you jump into the stream and you see someone that's like really out there, and they don't know what to expect. But I think that's also one of the things that hooks people too. It's like, oh, this guy's crazy. What, like I want to watch this person.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is a lot of people can't do that. Like I can't do that. I can't be like crazy loud or anything like that. I guess I could complain about games sometimes, or I'll point something out. But I think the thing that I like to do when I'm playing games is point out like something in a game that's just hilarious, whether it's like a glitch or something. And that's kind of where I am, like taking it and running with it and be like, oh, let's see if we can do that again, and like re-experience the obscure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of why I'm also a casual player too, because I don't have to stress over the small stuff. It has no impact on my life. It's just a story. Might as well be a book, but you're interacting with it.
Yeah, I feel like with having a persona, it's okay to have a persona that's kind of like loud in that. But the thing is like trying to keep up that persona. It's like
Yeah.
you can have your moments where you burst into like being loud and crazy in that, but trying to like that up and that be your whole entire persona.
Yeah, and that's kind of the balance that we're looking for when we're just streaming in general too, because like having conversations like this in the middle of all that is like kind of a weird backpedal for some viewers too, because you notice like when you're playing certain games, like let's say we're playing Jackbox or something, and we're being all kinds of weird with our answers, or someone, because we usually have more than one person or just ourselves in the chat, the voice chat, and we're bouncing jokes off of each other, and we're calling each other names jokingly or whatever. And then all of a sudden something comes up and we're being a little bit more serious or thoughtful about our responses, and I think that throws people off. Like they're like they don't know
Yeah.
how to react to it or something. If anything, I just think it shows the humanity that people don't expect, but I feel like in some ways also welcome to a degree too, because I feel like I've had a few moments like that where I'm just having a conversation with whoever my or the viewer is, and then like a second later I see the follow pop, and I'm like, okay, that's the kind of follow I want, not the person that just wanders in, sees me have like a fit or something, and is like, oh, this guy's funny, click, and then they never see that again. They just only experience that once in a while. I want them to experience me and then want to be hooked to that, not the outrageous moments that I occasionally have.
Yeah, I've shared the same experience. I've had a couple of viewers who followed me off of Jackbox, and some of them every now and then they'll come in the chat and be like, "Huh, you're not like walking away and raging from your desk. You're not like getting pissed and leaving the stream." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can't keep doing this bit over and over and over again
Yeah.
because I don't want my whole personality to be guy who rages off and walks away from stream and everybody points and laugh. I want that moment that happens every now and then as like a haha funny. We really got him there."
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it's okay in once in a while, but like if that's like your identity, I feel like it's a short-lived one, if anything. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as the guy that rages. I don't want to be known for being something negative. And that's a crazy thing is there's a lot of streamers that are like that, like especially
Yeah.
competitive ones, and it's kind of scary too because when you watch some of them, like here's a crazy thing. I've seen so many headlines like in news and stuff like that, whether it's like actual news or it's like some like side article or something, where a lot of those streamers have gotten in trouble one way or another, like legally in trouble. And of course, I won't name any names, but like you could look it up, be like streamer, blah blah blah, and you'll find some crazy articles. There's like one where a guy would like punched his girlfriend or wife or something,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, like, bro,
Yeah.
it was all because of a video game related thing too. I'm like, you're taking something that's supposed to be a leisurely, like, relaxing sort of, like, that's the basis of a game is to have fun. It's entertainment, and you're turning it into like a life-changing experience for the worst. And
Yeah.
why do you want to be known for that? Like, why do you? Infamous is not a lifestyle. We want to avoid infamy as a streamer,
Yeah.
you know? And, it's also a very short-lived thing. Like, people that become infamous for something like that do not last long. And in fact, most of the time they get kicked off the platform. So think wisely of the words you say and the actions you take when you're behind a camera and live, but even more so in your life, because it's going to reflect back eventually. It's going to catch up to you. And maybe that's a tip for people out there, but also like be careful, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess the long and short of it is that's why I'm a casual gamer, though, because I want to relax when I play my games. I don't want to feel like I'm freaking out and getting stressed out over something that's supposed to be fun and entertaining. It's supposed to take me away from all the stress, not add to it.
Yeah.
So, and I think with that, I would say we could probably get to the last segment that I had planned, which kind of comes full circle when you think about it, because anytime you rage on a game, it doesn't mean that it's a competitive game where someone fucked up and messed up, or even you might have caused the issue and now you're upset at yourself or anything like that. Sometimes it's the game that's the problem, and that's where this segment comes in, where it's fix a game. I might even make this fix a movie at some point, or fix a show, or
Ooh,
something like
okay.
that. But fix a game for this first one, just because there's so many games out there, whether it's competitive or not, that they have issues, or maybe it's not so much an issue as it's something that I think could benefit from a change. And if you have one in mind, I'll let you take that.
I'm not sure if this would be a good game to discuss about, but maybe we could talk about Mecha Chameleon.
Okay. Yeah. If you have anything in mind, that something that could what's something that Mecha Chameleon could benefit from by changing, fixing, or adding, or something like that.
I feel like with Mecha Chameleon, one thing that they could change, I would like more weapon variety. Kind of make it
Okay.
like Gmod Prop Hunt.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like or I think one of the things I was thinking of for Mecha Chameleon is like power-ups.
Ooh, okay.
So if you have a large lobby, especially, and let's say you've caught a few people, because here's the thing, like in some cases, especially if you're playing Infection, you're going through and you're finding people, and then they become a hunter too. I feel like if you're someone that's gotten more of those, the finding or kills or whatever, how you want to call it, there could be a bonus for you the next round. So if you're if you're a seeker or a hunter or whatever, then maybe you get a bonus that's could be like, because I know you could get like either like a flash grenade or a regular grenade in prop hunt, and it would remove a lot of things from the area. What I was thinking is, imagine something like that you throw into an area of the room or wherever you are, and instead of like causing damage, it turns everything black and white. So if someone's painted themselves, it would instantly like reveal them in that area. And it wouldn't be a very big explosion. So it wouldn't be like something that, if like, unless a lot of people are in a very small area, it would uncover a lot of people. Because obviously, if you throw it in a room where it's like like a painting or something like that, and you throw that and everything turns, monotone, but the only thing that doesn't change is the character and the colors that they painted themselves. So they would instantly stick out. So that would be like a power up idea for, that character or for that player. So if they've found enough people, they could do that. Or on the flip side, if you're someone that is a good chameleon, I guess, then you get a power up that allows you to become transparent, and then you can easily see behind you better, so you can paint and be more accurate. Or it just literally turns you into more of like a chameleon in the way of like it copies the image behind you onto the front or something like that. I thought that would be a really interesting thing they could add to it. I don't think it would necessarily be a fix, but I think it'd be a cool addition.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, gosh, there's so many games that I could probably discuss like that. So, rapid fire thing for some of the games I'm seeing on my list. First of all, I already said Mecha Chameleon. So, Crimson Desert multiplayer, simple. Needs multiplayer like crazy, and character creator. I want character creators so bad in Crimson Desert. It would be amazing. I haven't played it in a while, but I know if they ever came out with that, it'd be a day-long stream of just Crimson Desert and character creator. I think the only complaint I have for this game, The First Descendant, I love the game. I haven't played it in a while, but mostly because they like to freaking drip feed you content, and that's one of the most annoying things to me. Like, they wait like 3 or 4 months for a new character to come out, and it's ridiculous. Like, they could come out within a season, they could come out with 2 or 3 characters, and they only come out with like 1. And they think that, I know why they do that is because they want to slow down the amount of content comes out so people don't, chew through it too quick. But that's kind of the point of the game is to play, and they're not giving us anything to play except for repetitive event content, and that's the whole reason I haven't played in a while, because they haven't given me anything new. If you think of anything, jump in. Species Unknown, that's another one that I love this game, but they just announced that the thing that they were supposed to come out with for summer is now coming out in fall, and I'm a little annoyed by that, but if it comes out great, then I don't care. But there is a lot of things they could add to this, including new weapons, new species that I really want to see. New mechanics would be great, like grenades or something, traps that you could use to catch the species, things like that would be amazing. Oh, Jackbox. If Jackbox had a vote to kick feature,
Oh yeah. Yep.
that would be fucking amazing. Jackbox, that's all they really need for all these. Also, to allow us to use like the settings mid game would be amazing too, because there's things like you can't adjust like volume mid game, which is really dumb. Like, they need to fix that shit like post haste. Like, get that done. Vote kick is a big one though, because especially as a streamer and we have people that join us and then for some reason they randomly leave. Now we're waiting like 2 minutes for someone for the timer to run down. Like, there should be a thing for the host that either allows us to kick the player that's missing, or a force timer where if someone did leave, then we could get force the timer to complete sooner or something like that. Would be amazing.
They also, with that, just, I know they have an option for someone to be a moderator and all that, but for them to be a moderator, it would be hard for them to play the game. I feel like they should make it client side where you can kick people, because there's been a couple of games that I've done where people will put slurs, make some really racist joke or name, and then I have to X out the game and get everybody to log back in and all that, and it's a pain in the ass. I'd rather have an option to like kick that person and ban them from any future games that I set up with my Twitch account enabled.
Yeah, and I know on their side of things with Jackbox, I know they're probably not even considering streamers. They're probably considering like small parties at like someone's house or whatever it is. But I feel like it's probably more played by streamers than it is probably these small house parties that they expect it to be. But it's not like the late 90s, early 2000s when You Don't Know Jack came out and it was like DVDs or anything. Now it's across the internet, people. like
Yep.
like we gotta reconsider some of these options. Oh, here's a good one. Classic Uno. Uno is a
Oh.
4-player game. Why isn't it 8 fucking players? I've always played with more than 4 players on Uno every single
I
time.
wonder.
Like with
If
cards.
you search up Uno
I don't-
players, like the card game, is the card game the maximum number of players for a standard game of Uno is 10 players.
Yes.
So yeah, why can't they add at
It's-
least like 8-player lobbies?
This is a controversial thing to me because it's only ever been for the video game version of the game, which has been out forever, by the way. The
Yeah.
Uno is
Been out
not
since
changed.
Xbox 360 era.
Exactly. I used to play it on Xbox 360, and it's always been 4 players. It could easily be 10 players. Very easily. At the very least, 8 players. If you just want to double it up. Like, it wouldn't be that hard. I feel like it honestly, legitimately would not be that hard to do. And I feel like if I had that, if you had that, I would be playing that on fucking stream. They'd be getting a lot more traffic.
The crazy thing is they have that set up for Monopoly, which is another game under Ubisoft. So
Yeah.
they can add 8 players and more with Monopoly. Why limit yourself in Uno? I would say is a more vastly popular game, and it's a
Yes.
game that doesn't take excessively finish.
No, yeah,
compared
I
to
mean,
Monopoly.
with 8 players, it might be a little long, unless you're sticking
Maybe.
to like the card count being the original card count. Like,
Yeah.
then again, if they really want to touch on that, then they could just have an option to choose like single deck, 2 decks, whatever it is to make the card game not last as long. Then you're not having like hour-long games and stuff like that. But Uno's a huge one. I think that if they made it 8 players, I feel like it would explode overnight. I feel like with more players, because
Yeah,
you only
definitely. Especially
like
with
the-
viewer loss.
I think fixing Uno and adding more players would be 100%. It would be better than what it is now. What else? Oh, with that being said, why not increase the number of players for Ultimate Chicken Horse too?
Oh,
Because Ultimate Chicken Horse can only have 4 players natively, and you can of course do a mod to have more than that. But I feel like 8 players is another even number for Ultimate Chicken Horse that would be reasonable, like as a starting point. And I mean, the mod works, so why not just implement it natively or naturally for the game? Like, it'd be perfect. I mean, games like Stardew Valley can have 8 players. Why not have 8 players on freaking Ultimate Chicken Horse or Uno? Like I said.
yeah, with mods, the maximum player limit for Ultimate Chicken Horse increases the vanilla cap of 4 to 8.
Yeah, and it's great.
I bet a lot of people like this mod, so it's like fucking Ultimate Chicken Horse can make a lot more money if they implemented it into the vanilla game, so people that don't want to fucking download mods and shit can just play the vanilla game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Mega Bonk. I would love Mega Bonk if it was multiplayer.
Ooh.
Mega Bonk if it was multiplayer.
Like Mega Bonk that's multiplayer?
Yeah, actually, I just got one called Cineas Arena Survivors.
Okay.
And that one's multiplayer. It's almost identical to Mega Bonk in a lot of ways. It's a little different because it has like a tower defense element added to it too. But it's a great game, and they work almost exactly the same. It's like a bullet hell, bullet heaven sort of situation where you're mostly just walking around and jumping, and the game auto fires for you at the enemies that are nearby. But for the most part, yeah, it works the same way, and it's multiplayer. I think it's up to 4 players. If Mega Bonk was even like a 2-player co-op, I think that would be pretty fun. But
Yeah.
4 players is reasonable too. Like, I think that'd be great. Oh, I didn't open up my whole thing. Oh, this is a really random one. If Dragon's Dogma had multiplayer, like, they kind of technically do, but they don't at the same time. So if you don't know what Dragon's Dogma is, you start with your main character, and then they get something called a pawn, which is like a AI NPC that follows you around and helps you. But I don't see why not. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to make like a couch co-op version where someone could take the controller and take control of the pawn, and then you could play together, and then do that, or be able to join your friend as your pawn and continue to play with them. Like, I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing. Like, not you wouldn't be able to join as your main character, but you'd be able to join as your pawn. So at least you would have more thoughtful game progression when you build your pawn than most people I know that probably just kind of throw it together, pick the class, and move on. Like, that's it. But if you're able to play as your pawn with your friend, then you could do a little bit more to progress your pawn and level them up too, because that's the only way your pawn really levels up is when it goes out, gets experience from you as well, but they also get more experience when they go out and they're on loan basically with another player. Any other ones for you?
I don't believe so.
I think anything to add along with any other topics that you would want to add?
Recorded enough for the pilot episode. I feel like we should save some topics for another.
Oh, yeah. I'm already kind of working on that too. So
thank you everyone for watching our podcast. It's our pilot episode. And just to let you know, we have new episodes every Friday. So please tune in for that, and we'll see you next time.